All right, finally at the gym now. Sunday night. It's actually a very late session. It's nearly 9 o'clock. So the gym will be closing in just over an hour. So I've got just over an hour to get my training session done. And seeing as I had to kind of reshuffle this week due to having the food poisoning and a couple of days rest, I've got to train rear delts, biceps, and back today. And technically, I was going to try throw in a little bit of direct glute work at the end because I did skip my final exercise of my leg session earlier in the week, just due to running short on time. The gym was closing, so I just wanted to get out of here and not hold up the guys that were working the desk that night. So yeah, pretty big session, and to squeeze all of that in less than an hour is going to be a challenge and a half, but I'll give it my best shot. I'll give it a red hot crack, as they say. Got my energy drink here, which I shouldn't really technically drink because of how late it is, but my body clock's been thrown out a little bit the last couple of nights since I got sick. I've been starting my days later and finishing them later. And last night, because it was Saturday night, and I usually have the live chat with Paul Barnett and Chase Irons and Todd Lee and Kurt Havens, and then also Colin. Like I usually don't get to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning. And I found this interesting show, actually. Well, I don't know if it's interesting. You'll probably think I'm a bit of a dork if I tell you what it is, but I'm going to tell you anyway. There's this German TV series on Amazon Prime called The Griffin, and I got hooked on it. I watched the entire season over the last two nights. It sounds like a lot, but there's only 6 episodes in the season, but they are 1-hour episodes, and so it's 6 hours of watching a TV series over the last 2 days. And I've done that at the end of my day because I don't like to watch stuff during the day and have it interfere with my workflow and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I didn't get to sleep until I think 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. And so I woke up extremely late, started my day late. So even though it is quite late, and normally I would be very tired by this point in the night, I'm feeling pretty awake, and I shouldn't have this energy drink, but I'm going to have it anyway. Only because I know I can sleep after I drink caffeine, so I won't have the best quality sleep, but I'll still sleep enough. I might be responsible and only drink half of it, actually. That's probably what I should do, because then I'm only getting about 100 milligrams of caffeine, if that. But yeah, biceps, then rear delts, then back tonight, and then a little bit of hamstring, glute, specific work if I have the time and get the chance to. Not really much else to touch on, guys. It's been a pretty decent week. Mini cut wise, I've dropped about an average, I think now, of, as of this morning, 7 pounds this week. So another 7 pound drop this past week in the mini cut. And this wraps up week 3 of the mini cut, so week 4 will be starting tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what my body weight is tomorrow, because I am going to be eating. I've still got about half my day's worth of food to eat by the time I get home, and it's already quite late, like I said, nearly 9 o'clock. So, I mean, that could push my body weight up, for all I know, considerably tomorrow morning in my weigh-in. But if it does, I know a lot of it's just due to additional, I suppose, food mass in the gastrointestinal tract, and it's not, in fact, an actual like increase in weight. It's just a delayed kind of clearance time for the food in my digestion. So yeah, but we'll see what it is tomorrow, I guess. Aside from that, yeah, just I'm going to shut up and get in there and do the training session. So see you guys in there. So we got the party pants on for a change. I don't think I've worn these for a hot minute. The Atomics bodybuilding pants. I had more pairs of these, but not long after I got over here in Thailand, I washed them after I used them for the first time here. And I made the mistake of putting them in the dryer, and I put them in the dryer and they didn't fit after that, so I had to throw them out, which is a shame because they're not cheap. If you guys have ever bought Atomics pants, you know that they are quite expensive. They cost a pretty penny, especially if you don't live in the States. The shipping fee isn't too forgiving, but I'll get more eventually. I just need to figure out the whole purchasing international items and get them here, sort of thing, because you need to get like a third-party shipping company, I think, so you can get it through customs. So I've got to look into that a little bit. But until then, it'll just be wearing this one pair and wearing my my baggy Champion cargos. But I'll do a warm-up set on this, just 30 kilo, just to get some blood flow. Not going to go extremely hard on this set or even the next set if I do another warm-up, but basically just anywhere from 6 to 10 reps just to kind of get some blood flow in the area and potentiate my biceps for the working sets to come. Yeah, I'll do 2 warm-up sets. Otherwise it'll be a pretty big jump. It'll be a 100% jump in load to the working weight, and I don't think that's very wise. That'll be enough. So yeah, I didn't mention it, but I got a haircut today. Michaela and I, we went to Starbucks for a change. Usually we just work from home, but we decided to treat ourselves to a coffee out today, which is usually a once a week kind of thing. Because you know how it is, getting coffees out is expensive, and if you want to be smart with your money, at the end of the day, you've got to be mindful of how you spend every dollar. A lot of people piss away a lot of money, to be honest, on little trivial things like that, and then wonder why they can't afford the better luxuries of life, like coaching, for example. That's the first thing that comes to mind, because I mean, I was guilty of it in the past when I was younger. I remember there was a point where I thought, oh, I can't afford coaching, and I printed off my bank statement one day and I went through everything that I was spending money on, and I think it averaged out to be like I was spending something stupid like $100 a week on takeaway coffee, and I thought to myself, well, there we go, there's coaching right there. So I stopped buying coffees out back then, and I'll just occasionally treat myself to one now. But when you realize how much shit you buy, it's really eye-opening, and you can really find and save a lot of money when you just basically tighten up your spending. But it's a Sunday, thought, why not treat ourselves? So we went there, Starbucks coffee, and yeah, I went upstairs to get my hair cut. It's not something that I do frequently. I'll probably do it, say, once a fortnight to once a month. And yeah, I was about 2 to 3 weeks overdue. Been about 4 to 5 weeks, 5 weeks, I think, yeah, since I got my last haircut. So I just got it tidied up. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet, so I'm growing the top out. I just got the back and sides cut short, and I got the beard lined up. Growing the beard out, but I'll probably cut it off again soon. Not a big fan of beards, to be honest, but I don't know. I also get sick of having the same look sometimes, so figure I'll just grow it out for now, and when I get sick of it, if I do, I can chop it off. If not, I've got it there still, and I can just keep growing it. So first working set will be same weight as last week. Well, all of the working sets will be, which is 60 kilo. And just aiming for about 1 rep in reserve. 2 failure on the last one if I feel like it. But yeah, 3 sets of this. Then it'll be on to 3 sets of Bayesian curls. And then the rear delt work. I've got 2 rear delt exercises, I believe. Face pulls, and then the rear delt row. And then it basically transitions me into my back work, because the rear delt row is kind of like an upper back / rear delt combo. So it's kind of like a good transition exercise, like I've said in the past. I like to do that if I'm training multiple body parts. I like to have kind of almost like a bridging exercise between the different body parts. So like say I'm going from if I was doing biceps and back, I'd try to find a row variation or a pull variation that was very bicep dominant but still hit the back, and I'd use that as kind of like the transition movement. Similar to this setup, like, because I want to basically do biceps first, then rear delts, then back. You can't really do a transition movement between rear delts and biceps. It's a bit impossible, but you can do a transition exercise between rear delts and back. That's very easy. Because a lot of the actions of the rear delt and some of the back musculature do cross over and overlap, so you can kind of find a few viable candidates for exercises that do target both those body parts. I'm going to stop rambling, do the first working set. Bit of a rest, then I'll do another set. But yeah, felt pretty decent. Biceps always feel a little bit kind of rusty on that first working set, but after that they're warm enough and they feel real smooth. So I reckon I'll probably find that the next set and the set after that, the final set, will feel best. Yeah, after that it'll just be some Bayesian curls just to really stretch the biceps out under load. I find if I try to do Bayesian curls first, I'll probably snap my shit up. But doing a bicep curl variation where you're in a bit of more of a shortened position and you're not fully stretching the bicep under load, it just allows you to kind of expose those tissues to stimulus and get blood flow directed to that location before doing it, and so you don't snap your shit up. And then they feel a lot better. It goes to be the case for most body parts, to be honest. Doing an exercise where you're really shortening it and loading it up in the peak contraction before you do a deep stretch, I think is a good kind of good practice to kind of get into. I'll just turn the exposure down on this set just to kind of test it out and see what it looks like, because I've really noticed different areas of this gym will be better lit or not as well lit, and it really does throw off the consistency with the clips, the video clips. So I'll just see if this improves it a little bit, prevents everything from getting too washed out from the real strong overhead lights. But yeah, if there's no real difference, I'll just switch it back. But I might just have to get in the habit of like adjusting the exposure and the ISO from set to set, working set to working set essentially, or from exercise to exercise, depending on what location the exercise is in the gym, just to kind of smooth out and even out the light profile of each clip, so it looks a little bit more uniform. But yeah, time for set number 2. With these, I'm not really focusing as much on like relaxing and not engaging the forearms, so I really don't care if I get them involved a little bit. I'm getting a real good mind to muscle connection with my biceps tonight, so it's not something that I always do. If I'm struggling to feel my biceps in a session, I'll basically troubleshoot my execution. I'll do the whole let the wrists kind of extend back a bit more and see if I can basically feel the biceps more when I go into a bit of wrist extension and disengage those forearm muscles a bit. But yeah, if I can feel my biceps straight away, I don't worry about it. That felt good. Might actually bump it up on the third and final set, the 65 kilo, which will be a weight PB. But I don't think I've ever done more than one set of 15 in a row at 60, but tonight I just did 2 and it felt somewhat conservative. So I think I've got room to push up to 65 and just test where I'm at. If I hit the minimum reps, sweet. I can do all the working sets of that weight next week then. Yeah, one more to go and then on to Beijing curls. Not bad, 12 reps. Got the minimum, aiming for 12, got 12, thankfully. And no, I couldn't have done another rep, even though it did kind of look like it. I barely locked out that last rep, so if I did another rep, it might have been fine speed-wise, but I wouldn't have gotten a full contraction at the top, which is really important in my opinion on preacher colors. So just calling it there. That's it. At least I know I've got more in the tank in terms of what load I can use for next week. I'll go up to 65 from working set number 1 next week. So same weight as last week, 60 kilo. And I don't know if I'll be hitting any rep PBs on this one. I find it's really hard to progress this movement. Like progressing the preacher curl is a lot easier than progressing this. And that's true for any exercise when you're comparing an exercise that fully stretches a muscle or a muscle group. It's harder to typically progress on that, especially if you're not just using the myotatic stretch reflex. If you're doing a bit of a pause and a stretch, which I think is important, especially now that we know that lengthened loading of a muscle is more hypertrophic, generally speaking, than shortened loading of a muscle. So if you're not spending a little bit more time in that stretch position, you're probably leaving gains on the table. So I just checked my training log and it does appear like I hit a rep PB on that set. I got one more rep than I did last week, so surprised, but I'm happy nonetheless. Usually I'm good with staying hydrated, but lately I've been forgetting to drink my water, which is a bit peculiar for me. Okay, final set. Then it is onto the rear delt work, which I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest, out of the whole session. I'm really digging rear delt training at the moment. Not necessarily shoulder training, but just rear delt training. So yeah, keen to get into that. Face pulls and rear delt rows. But first I gotta get this last set of curls out of the way. Put some radio head on. God. Right, so what I might actually do, just to save some time and avoid going around to multiple stations, is just to double the volume on this. So yeah, literally 8 working sets of face pulls. So I think I'm just going to do that because, I mean, the upper back still gets hit when you do face pulls anyway, so similar enough to a high row in terms of the movement profile aspect of it. So I'll just do that, I reckon. 8 sets of face pulls, then into the back work. That way I can just cut an exercise out of the session and still get the same amount of stimulus without as much messing around or goofing around. Let's put some music on. Oh. Oh. That feels too light. Oh, there we go. Now, because I am doing 8 sets of this exercise, I'm definitely not going to record them all because that would be boring as hell, and I don't see anybody watching and sitting through me do 8 sets of the same damn exercise. So I'll probably just record 4 sets and then jump on to the next movement in terms of like when I record next. But just know that I'm going to be doing a total of 8 sets, so double what you see in the video. I'm not going to skimp out on those, especially seeing as I'm enjoying rear delt training so much at the minute. It's the last body part that I'll be skipping working sets for. Since the last back day that I did in this gym though, they've got new back equipment. They've got a T-bar row, chest supported machine T-bar row over there, and what looks to be another rowing variation. So I'd have to test those out, put them into the next training block, and you guys can see what they look like, and I can give you a bit of a review in terms of what I think of them. Yeah, time for set number 2. Now, although I'd love to hunt down the usual attachment I use on this, and although I'd love to do a warm-up set, the gym closes in 2 minutes and I've got 3 sets of this to do and 3 sets of the final exercise, so looks like I'm going to be that guy in the gym past closing time tonight, which is it's not a good feeling, but I'm going to smash it out as quickly as possible. I've had barely 90 seconds rest, but got to get through these sets in record time. Final exercise, plate number 11, the same as last week. And what was it? What did I do? How many reps? All right, 12s, 3 sets of 12. See if I can match that. Pretty cooked. Could really use some lifting straps right now, and I do have them in my bag, but I refuse to use them. I've got like I suppose a bit of a vendetta against them for no reason, other than it just makes the back training easier. But it is actually a smart thing to use them if your back isn't the limiting factor. Say your arms, your grip strength is the rate limiting factor. Definitely use straps if you have them, guys. Don't be a dick like me. But in saying that too, my grip isn't really a limiting factor. It's more so my back than my grip, because my grip's so strong relative to my my back. So yeah. God. Want to go. Definitely get a bit tired now. Last set of this exercise and the final set of the session. It's 10 past 10, so the gym closed 10 minutes ago. Let's get this done. Now, definitely would have gotten that final rep fully locked it out if I hadn't have had to shorten the rest period so much to get this whole session in, but sometimes you got to improvise given the time frame that you have to work with, like I had to tonight. But yeah, that's the end of the session, guys, so see you in the next video, so stick around. If not, yeah. So I definitely would have been able to lock that final rep out fully and completely had I not have had to shorten the rest periods, but sometimes you just have to improvise given the time frame that you've got to work with, and it's exactly what I had to do tonight. So yeah, performance suffered a little bit in retrospect, but I still got the full session done and boxed off, so it's time to head home, shower, eat and bed. Yeah, it's the end of the session, guys, so hope you enjoyed it, and if you stick around, I'll see you in the next video.